You've stopped swimming. Your arms are done, the cold has your legs, and you've already gone under once. You come up spitting water, you go under again, and then something big moves beneath you. It rises. It lifts. A body strong enough to hold you down instead pushes you up, toward air, toward a shore you couldn't reach on your own. It should have passed you like driftwood. It should have seen prey, or seen nothing at all. Instead, it decided you were worth saving. Why? Why would a wild animal, in the 1 second it should be saving itself, turn back and carry you? Or did it never really see you? Just some old instinct that mistook you for something else, and you got lucky enough to be there. Start with the animal you've already watched do this, the one that might be asleep in your house right now. The dog. You know the clips. A dog dragging an unconscious owner out of the smoke. A dog that will not stop barking at a wall until somebody finally smells the gas. It's so common we've quit calling it a miracle. Which is strange, because it is one. Here's the part that isn't obvious. In 2015, Miho Nagasawa's team at Azabu University published a finding in Science. When a dog and its owner simply look at each other, both of them release oxytocin, the exact hormone that floods a mother the instant she holds her newborn. Not a metaphor. The literal chemistry of parenthood, running on a loop between a person and an animal that isn't even the same species. That's not loyalty you trained into it. That's a mother's biology, aimed at you. But 15,000 years of living beside us only explains the animals we raised. So walk out to the ones that owe us nothing at all. Back into the water, to a woman named Nan Hauser. In 2017, off the Cook Islands, Hauser, herself a whale biologist, was in open water when a humpback, 40 tons of it, began shoving her with its head. Hard, pushing her across the surface, trying to tuck her under a fin the size of a door. She had spent her whole life around these animals, and in that moment she was sure this one meant to kill her. It was hiding her. For several minutes it kept shoving and lifting, while a tiger shark circled a few meters off, and the whale would not let her go until it was gone. You want to call that a fluke. Then you run into Robert Pitman. In 2016, Pitman, a marine ecologist with NOAA, published something in Marine Mammal Science that reads almost like an error. It started with a scene he watched himself, back in 2009. A seal knocked off an ice floe by killer whales, thrashing in open water, and a humpback rolling belly up beneath it, lifting the seal clear out of the sea on its own chest, holding it up there, above the orca's reach, until the danger passed. When his team went looking, they found it wasn't rare. They gathered 115 separate recorded cases of humpback whales charging into killer whale hunts, throwing their bodies between the orcas and their prey. And the animal they saved over and over wasn't another whale. It was a seal, a sea lion, a stranger of the wrong species that could give the whale nothing, ever. It wasn't seeing a human, or a seal, or a whale. It saw something being hunted, and to a humpback, something being hunted is simply not allowed to happen. Biologists have a cold little name for it: interspecific altruism. The whales seem to have skipped the fine print about who it's supposed to apply to. And it isn't only the giants with the big warm brains. Shrink the whole thing down. In November of 2008 in Denver, a woman named Megan Howard was babysitting a toddler named Hannah, and she stepped out of the room for a moment. Behind her, Hannah started to choke on her breakfast. What Megan heard from the next room was her parrot, a Quaker parrot named Willie, a bird whose entire brain is smaller than a walnut, screaming 2 words over and over, flapping wild against the bars. "Mama baby! Mama baby!" She ran back. The little girl was already turning blue. Megan got behind her, drove the sharp thrust up under her ribs that popped the food loose, and Hannah breathed. A bird did that. Not a dog we shaped over 15,000 years. Not a whale with a brain like a boulder. A cage bird, with an alarm going off inside it that it could not possibly understand, and it screamed until a life was pulled back. Now swing to the other end of the scale, because the next animal builds its entire life around this. In 2014, Joshua Plotnick and Franz de Waal, out of Emory University, spent nearly a year watching Asian elephants in Thailand. What they documented was consolation, a frightened elephant, and the others coming to it, touching it with their trunks, making a specific low rumble, staying with it until it settled. Before that study, we'd only proven this in great apes, in dogs, in a few sharp birds. Not elephants. Now it was on the record, an animal that reaches for another animal's fear and tries to answer it. And there are accounts, over and over, of elephants doing it across the species line, standing over a fallen human, steering a lost child home, laying that wall of a body between a person and a predator. Now the unsettling part. Stand inside the elephant for a second. From up there, you are not the clever ape that runs the planet. You are small. You are slow. You have no tusks, no trunk, no herd in sight. To 6 tons of ancient memory, you look an awful lot like a calf that wandered too far, and everything in it is built to not let a calf like that fall. Fine, you might say, whales, elephants, big soft-hearted things. So take the one animal nobody accuses of loving you back. The cat. The house cat is the internet's favorite cynic. It tolerates you. It steps on your face at 4 in the morning. It would, we joke, eat you if you died and it got hungry enough. The cat is exactly where this comforting story should collapse. It doesn't. Around 1:45 in the morning, in Farmington Hills, Michigan, in 2022, a kitten named Thor started screaming. Not meowing. Screaming. A sound his owner, Heidi Stamper, had never heard him make. She got up. He was stumbling, sick. She carried him outside for air, and outside was the only reason she, her husband, and their 2 kids were alive by morning. A generator had been quietly filling the house with carbon monoxide. No color, no smell, no warning. Except the cat. That's not a pet being dramatic. That's a smoke alarm that, somewhere along the way, decided you were its. Now the honest part, because anyone who has read the comments under a video like this already has the objection ready, and it's a good one. You're only hearing the happy half. For every dolphin that nudged a drowning swimmer toward shore, maybe one nudged some other swimmer out to sea, and that person never came back to tell anyone. We keep the rescues and quietly lose the rest. It's called survivorship bias. It's real, and anyone selling you a warm story owes you that caution. Fair. Genuinely fair. But it doesn't reach the whales. Pitman's 115 cases weren't survivors telling stories afterward. They were trained observers on boats, watching the whale swim toward the danger, on purpose, for nothing, again and again. You can wave off one lucky swimmer. You cannot wave off a 40-ton animal that keeps choosing the fight, in front of scientists, every single time. So the behavior is solid. You can film it, you can count it, you can print it in a journal with 115 tidy entries. The one thing no camera has ever caught is the view from behind the animal's own eyes. Did the whale feel itself decide? Did anything in that little bird know it was saving a life? Or was it only noise thrown at a wrong that had no name? That door stays shut. We get the act. Clean, repeatable, real, and never once the thing standing on the other side of it. Everything we can see says somebody is home in there. And the proof stops exactly 1 inch short of certain. But before you file it all under just wiring, one last one. In December of 2011, in Zamboanga City in the Philippines, 2 little girls were crossing a road. One of them 11, the other only 3. A motorcycle was coming fast, and it was not going to stop. There was a street dog with them, a scruffy mixed breed named Kabang who belonged to their family. She didn't bark, she didn't run, she threw herself into the front wheel. The girls lived. Kabang's face caught in the spokes, and it tore off the top of her jaw and most of her nose. She survived that too. Months of surgery, a face that would never be whole again. But that all comes later. In the half-second that decided it, a dog with nothing to gain put her own skull between a child and a machine, and never hesitated. She didn't have to. Nothing made her. She owed those girls nothing they could ever pay back, and she did it anyway. So go back to the water. You're going under. The cold has your legs, and something huge rises beneath you. Now you know what it's doing. It isn't saving a human. It never learned that word. It's answering the oldest signal there is. Something alive, something drowning, something that counts as one of its own. And for 1 second, that is all you are to it. Not a person, not the top of the food chain, just a small warm thing worth pulling back from the edge. We spend our whole lives sure we are the ones watching the animals. You were the one being watched, and when it came down to it, something out there looked at you, stripped of your name, your species, your throne, and decided you were worth keeping alive. You've probably got your own version of it. The moment it stayed,